Strictly music, only music and nothing else. And let's go ahead and talk about what everybody's been talking about. The bees are buzzing, 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 buzzing with this latest news of Drake suing UMG. Now, we already know the controversy between him and Kendrick Lamar, and we already know how this year has turned out for the self-proclaimed boy, the boy, aka Drake, formerly known as Aubrey Graham. But let's talk about the problem with Drake. There's a quote by the great Floyd Mayweather, and he says this: "Some people pay to see me win, some people pay to see me lose, but they all pay." The dichotomy between Drake and Kendrick Lamar is this. On one hand, we have Aubrey with all of the accolades and all the numerical stats to say that he is definitively the best, but he lacks the cultural stamp, and he's always lacked it. If you look into his history, they've always regarded him as a musical genius that can give him the hits, but he never quite got the respect. And on the other hand, we have Kendrick Lamar, who is known also as a musical genius. He may lack some of the numerical stats that Drake has, but he's always had that stamp, and he hasn't had as much mainstream appeal. So for the longest, people felt that Kendrick wasn't capable of doing some of the things that Drake could do because he wasn't in the public eye enough. He has been there frequently. He has been heralded as one of the GOATs of this generation, and he has kind of put his stamp on it to say, "I am the GOAT, the definitive one." But Kendrick has not basked in the limelight constantly like a Drake has, so that people were under the assumption that Kendrick just couldn't stand the test of time. Before they got into the battle, we heard a lot of things like Kendrick isn't battle tested, and he spends too much time without making music in between albums, even though debatably every album that he drops is almost a classic. So where are we at now? Some people pay to see me win, some people pay to see me lose, but they all pay. Drake cup runneth over with numerical accolades and just financial boon from all of the things that he does musically, but the respect is what he lacks, and you can't buy respect. You can't buy it. And we are seeing the culture turn on Drake and eat him, or attempt to eat him alive, for his inability to get that stamp. And what we've seen here is, let's get a little bit CO-inspiracy with it. Kendrick is no longer a part of TDE. He started his own moniker. He has no issues with TDE, but he started his own moniker. He's going to his own label, which is PG Lang, and he started that not too long ago. Now, Drake has been in communications with UMG for a while. We already know the dealings with that. He has probably some of the best deals in the industry, but we see him working like a slave on tour after tour after tour after tour after tour. So we're questioning, why is he touring so much? Why is an artist of his stature touring like his life depends on it? Then the question became, was he trying to get out of his deal? There is rumors that Drake and UMG had some issues, and Kendrick Lamar is the boogeyman to put the final nail in the coffin that is Drake. And they lined him up so perfectly. They got Rick Ross involved. They got ASAP involved. They got Future involved. They got Metro involved. People don't even know that Childish Gambino got a jab in. There was a long laundry list of artists that were getting their jabs in at Drake. And Kendrick came like the Grim Reaper to deliver the almighty axe, to topple it all down. And now Drake is suing UMG, saying that they helped Kendrick get the notoriety for Not Like Us that Not Like Us currently has by using bots and other shady-handed, underhanded business tactics. But the problem with Drake is, you are the golden boy of the industry. If anybody has benefited from any underhanded tactic or any favoritism from the label, it would be you. It would be him. So the hypocrisy of it all, that's the problem with Drake. You have to choose what you desire most. If you want the numbers and the accolades, congratulations, you got them. But we see him scrambling now for the respect that he so dearly lacks as Kendrick Lamar dismantles him. You're a Caucasian Canadian that has not grew up or lived the life that you portray. And we like your music when you come with the melodies, but not when you act like a savage or a murderer or a killer or anything of that nature. You're not like us. You have questionable relations with women far younger than you. You refer to yourself as the boy even though you're far older. We see in the industry you deal with other people's women constantly as if you desire a home for yourself that you cannot create, so you set out to dismantle other people's. All of this should roll off of the shoulder of somebody that cares nothing for anything but the numbers. If you were truly a numbers guy and cared nothing about cared about nothing else but the numbers and the finance, these comments and these critiques would not hit you as hard as they're hitting you. When you hit a sore spot, it hurts. And the problem with Drake is he's on full display for his actions. And he's lashing out in the worst ways. We've seen it briefly with Pusha T. And he said to the audience, and they were foolish enough to believe him, I did not engage with Pusha T because it was going to bring me to a place that I did not want to go or I was not comfortable going. And that fabled place, that fabled dark realm, that fabled red button that you kept teasing that you had, when you finally pushed it on Kendrick Lamar, it did nothing and it went nowhere, and you were left naked and afraid. As Kendrick continues to gain more momentum, as the industry crowns him as the next up, we give him the Super Bowl, we give him the stadium tour, and maybe, just maybe, they even boosted the Not Like Us and they gave him some help on that. That's standard industry practice. Do your research on how Travis Scott got the notoriety that he currently has. Bots is standard industry practice, ladies and gentlemen. And anyone that's going to benefit from standard industry practice, it would be Drake. Kanye has brought it up before, I believe on his Drink Champs, if I'm not mistaken. He referred to Drake as the industry's golden boy. Now, I don't know if that's verbatim, but look it up. We know what standard industry practice is. It just doesn't benefit you currently, and your privilege is showing. The Canadian, Caucasian, Jewish boy that you truly are is showing as they chiseled away at your tough exterior, this mask that you created for yourself. The industry and Kendrick Lamar, or the industry by extension of Kendrick Lamar, chiseled away at that exterior, and we are looking at Aubrey for what he truly is. When the chips are down, the lawsuits are coming out. Where I'm from, we call that being a Karen. You are digging yourself a grave. The Millie Bobby Brown thing, you dug yourself a grave by mentioning her in moments where nobody did in an attempt to defend yourself. The accusations of dealing with the younger women hit like a truck. You being out of touch with your blackness hit like a truck. And now you're being referred to as what the black community calls a Karen. And Kendrick is steady chugging along. Kendrick has the most to gain as he's building his own brand and his own label, and he gets the call from the industry and says, hey, you can have it. Have what? The top spot. You could have it. We just need you to do one thing. Kill the GOAT. Kill the GOAT. J. Cole doesn't have the gall to do it. He's too friendly. And no one else is in the position that you are in, both in notoriety and lyricism and ability to strangle a GOAT of that stature. So we're going to help you out. We're going to deliver some people that are going to make it real easy for you. We're going to line the shot up. We just need you to take it. And he took it. And if that is the case, then who cares? Because who else benefits more from these practices than the man that's been on top of the industry for debatably 10 to 15 years? These tactics are tactics that you have always benefited from. There's rumors of you bullying people out of their publishing. and more things. How a new and upcoming artist would deal with Drake and then fall off. Look at I Love McConan and his complaints with dealing with Drake. After the Tuesday track, we all know we got the club going up on a Tuesday, and then McConan vanished into obscurity. Look at Blockboy JB, who has recently spoken up on behalf of Drake, but where's Blockboy JB right now? Where are the people on your OVO camp? You say now you have a track coming out with Party Next Door that we've been waiting for years, and you're dropping that in the most controversial time of your career, with the most adversity and industry pushback that you've ever received. Now you want to put Party in front of you as a human shield. Kendrick said in his song, you thought the money, power, and fame would make you go away. On the inside, you are what you have always been. And who better to strip it down than a nappy-headed, peasy-headed nigga from Compton? This is what you claim to be. And it's the same dichotomy between 6ix9ine and Lil Durk. When Lil Durk said, you have the money, you have all these things, but you will never have the stamp of the streets. And these people and these individuals that do not have that stamp, they die for it. Because when money is no longer an option, or when money is no longer an obstacle in your life, there's certain things you realize quickly that you can't buy. And that lineage and that history and that culture, you cannot buy that. And we see time and time again an artist trying to get that notoriety through his success, and they treat him like what he is, a cash cow, and then they disregard him. The streets are ruthless, and you would know this if you were genuinely a product of that environment. This is a very, very ruthless place to be for any individual that doesn't understand the ins and outs. And you can portray whatever you want, but the truth will always come to light. Authenticity prevails. And again, in the words of Floyd Mayweather, some people pay to see me win, some people pay to see me lose, but they all pay. That's a man that's focused on one thing, which is the dollar bill. Shout out to Floyd Money May. And if you were focused solely on the dollar bill and solely on the accolades and solely on the streams and solely on the success, all of this would roll over. The fact that you have to sue and file lawsuits because you just can't stand the fact that the person that you said could not hang, was not battle tested, never dropped, wasn't ready for the smoke, the person that you begged to come out of hiding, dismantled you and continues to dismantle you on every level. Now you're going full-blown Karen on them. And if money was the motive and if success was the motive, you would find a better way to dismantle your enemies instead of balling your fist up and stomping your feet and saying, I deserve to be here too. There's certain aspects of the culture that you cannot buy. And he is realizing that he is not like us at all. This is going to be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I suggest we all keep our eyes on it. We don't always get to see somebody in a position such as his fight to the extent that he's going to have to fight the industry. We've seen it briefly with Mike. We've seen it with people like Ja Rule. Every once in a while, these people that are at such a high position, they don't always fall gracefully, and I don't think Drake is going to fall gracefully. And people that are saying, oh, he's a martyr, he's using himself to expose industry tactics. After he's had a long, illustrious career of benefiting from those tactics, now he's a quote-unquote martyr. It sounds smart to a fucking fool, which I don't believe myself to be, and I don't believe my audience that's watching here to be. Like, comment, and subscribe. If money, power, and fame is what you're after, then congratulations, you got it. But what did it cost? Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, go check out my problem with J. Cole. Go check out my Doechii album review. She is up for album of the year, and I was the one that said very, very long time ago, I believe the second day she dropped it, that was going to be album of the year. Go ahead and check out my What's the Problem with Drill Music, and go ahead and check out my Kendrick Lamar GNX album review. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Get at me, I'm here for it all.